Every week before our coaching call, we have our leadership call, and we discuss what our plans are for the week, what our plans are for the coaching call, so on and so forth. And in consideration of what we discussed last week, which was Christopher and I coming at you with our gun in our hand, right? Our calculator, right? Because we're cowboys in the wild, wild west of alternative financing, right? Little nifty tricks and understanding how to work out affordability and payment schedules. That's great, and that's a big part of it. But there's other subtleties that we have to pay attention to when talking to our client and conducting surveys. Now, regardless of forms of funding, whether it's business funding, whether it's real estate investment funding, regardless of product type, right? Whether it's on the real estate side, money for purchase and a rehab, or it's a refi, or on the business side, it's a term loan, it's a cash advance, whatever it is. At the end of the day, one thing needs to be clear to all of us as loan brokers, okay? And that is our job is to disqualify files. The vast majority of applications that come in, heck, phone calls, conversations that you have, you should be looking to disqualify. And so if you can actually get to a point where your applications in are a bit less because you're not accepting applications from applicants who you know won't qualify, that's exactly what you should be doing. Because that's the goal of any underwriting team for any direct lending firm. The second a file comes in, they're looking through those financials. They're looking through the experience, the credit history, the background of that client, and just looking for anything they can find for a reason to not lend their money. And that's how you mitigate risk, right? So as loan brokers, we want to do the exact same thing. And if we do that, we will find the good deals, the fundable deals, and we will make money. So there's a lot of brokers out there, or aspiring brokers, I should say, that miss this crucial step or get discouraged when this happens and thinking that, oh, I'm never going to find the right file, or, oh, this doesn't work. That's not the case. That's exactly the experience you should be having early on, is learning those valuable lessons and then actually learning from them, taking those lessons constructively so that the next time you're that much better, your teeth are that much more sharp, right? We could take a look at a few examples. And Christopher and I and the rest of the leadership team were discussing doc collection for term loans today. The difference between cash advance, term loans, what kind of docs you want to collect. I know a lot of you in the past have been asking for a list of documents, things that we want. And as good as it is for us to provide to you that list of documents, as good as it is for you to be aware of what we need, consider this for a moment, okay? If all of you are the client, and I'm the salesperson, right? And you're looking for funding, and I say to you, okay, I'm going to send you a list of everything I need, right? And it's tax returns and debt schedules and real estate schedules and P&L with corresponding balance sheet and year-end financials and year-to-date financials and business license and this. Are you going to go drop what you're doing with your business, go collect all those documents and send them over to me just because I talked to you for 5 minutes on the phone? No way. You may decide you don't even want funding because it's too difficult. There's too many things that you have to do and you just simply don't have time. And so what you need to do is actually talk to your client and get them to emotionally connect to you and to your company. It's for them to understand that they need to work with you in order for their business to succeed, that you can provide that road to success for them. Right? That with you, they're going to get better terms, better rates, whatever it is. Right? Now, that's great that we can dangle the carrot and they can come and they'll chase that. They'll want to work. Then in that case, they'll want to provide those documents to you. But then we have to consider, are we spinning our wheels on doc collection and underwriting documents that we have no business spending time on in the first place because the deal could have been disqualified in the third question in the survey? Right? So, for instance, if we're talking business funding, if we have a client who has an open bankruptcy, right? It's never been satisfied, right? Therefore, it's a dead deal, regardless of how much time has passed. If we have a client who's a default merchant, right? Who's a default merchant, and they have a history of default, they've never paid back those loans. Yes, we do have a couple lenders who'd be willing to fund a default merchant, right? If it was paid off in the past or whatever, it'll be really high interest rate, but they'll do that. There's other lenders who won't touch them. Once you defaulted, that's it. You'll never get funding again. But what we need to understand is, does that default merchant, have they paid off the outstanding balance? How long has it been? Do they have assets? Can we help them? Or have they just not paid it off? Why would we look into funding? Why would we put together a worksheet? Why would we work out the math? Why would we analyze documents for somebody who simply doesn't pay back and has money outstanding? What lender would want to give that person their money if they're already not paying their creditors back? Right? Not to mention if you have a dishonest client. If you take a look at your survey and you have any loans and they say, I have one, I have a monthly payment and that's it. You take a look at the bank statements that come over, and in the first month's bank statement that you analyze, you can see they literally just got funded 15 days ago. It's nearly double their monthly gross, right? We can't give them money. And they say, I want a consolidation. I want to pay everything off. I have $5 million in assets, but I'm grossing $50,000 a month. And you think, they have $10 million in assets. So we can consolidate. Just because somebody has assets that they can dip into that equity and pull cash out doesn't mean they have the cash flow to be able to afford paying a loan of that size off. So that's something to consider, right? And so there's little subtleties in being able to disqualify files early on with basic questions, which is why you have to work your surveys. Regardless of business funding, real estate funding, whatever, you need to ascertain, is this actually a deal? Can they afford it? Do they have experience? Let me go through my checklist of things that'll kill a deal. Let me make sure that none of those things exist here, because if they do, sorry, can't help you, next. And that's the way you got to go. Otherwise, you bring the file in and you hear the word millions and you think of all the assets or whatever it is, and you're all excited because now you think you're going to make all this money, and you're spinning your wheels on a deal that's going to go nowhere. The account executive now, in the domino effect, is going to spend time underwriting a file that's going to go nowhere. And we're filling up our CRM with bad data that we can't reattack later. Right? So we have to think about this stuff. There's a lot of nuance here. Now, the same applies to real estate. I know I primarily dove into business funding, but the point is we have to keep things simple for ourselves. And that's working our surveys early on. That's having our calculators out in front of us, right? And it's collecting good information, right? For instance, with business funding, again, if there's a loan, right, that someone took out and they say, I have a weekly payment of this. Yeah, okay. What was the funded amount? What was the payback? What's the term? How far into the balance is it, or how far into the schedule are you, right? How much has been paid off? It's good to know if we're at the halfway point, perhaps we can renew with their current lender. Wipe out the remaining interest, and they can take money again. They can work off a payoff net situation, right? It's important to understand if it's real estate and they don't have any cash flow left. Like, I'd love to do more projects, but I don't have the cash flow. Well, what kind of real estate do you have? Do you have equity in those properties? Maybe we can eject some out of those properties and have a bit more cash flow. You can do another project, right? Maybe someone comes to you in real estate and says, I need another loan. I need to finish the rehab. Well, did they already get purchase and rehab money? If they did, no lender's going to come in behind that to give them additional funds, right? So there's a lot of nuance here. Now, the good news is your team leaders understand this stuff, but you need to develop these skills as well. Right? So I just threw a lot at you there, but leadership team, anything you guys want to add to that topic?
Yeah, not to really throw anything else on, but it's really practical, guys, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to stay neutral. It's looking at these conversations in a practical format. The better you're at just looking at the questions, and when I say looking at these questions, it's not you have to be robotic in delivery. It's having the conversation, but you need to ascertain a good bit of information, because the quality of your conversations will increase the quality of your applications, which will increase the likelihood of you closing. Throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what stick is the road to frustration. It's the road to saying this doesn't work. This is the road to say I'm going to quit. Take the time out in the beginning. Don't be. It's not. It's quality over quantity in the way I look at it. It's not about sending out. Oh, I got to send out 1,000 emails per day instead of staying at my 50% limit. You want to be quality. You want to be quantitative in your analysis of stuff. And the only way you're able to make a quantitative analysis is sitting down, having an understanding of what questions you need to ask, and then looking over that data and then coming back and saying, okay, yes, this seems like it could fit the box, or no, it doesn't fit the box. That is your first job. That is your first and main task. And then we come back and support you. Hey, Chris, this still seems to check all the boxes. Then I'm coming back and say, okay, yes, that does. I'm confirmed that those boxes are checked, and now we're gonna work on terms and building that relationship with that client. But too many, it seems like a lot of you are missing that point of don't are scared to have that conversation with people, and you really have to be ask those questions, be engaged with your client, because that shows you care about what's going on for them, and being truthful, like, look, that doesn't make sense. The example, if you were in a rehab project, you bought money, you got rehab, and you're now short on the rehab, that means you mismanaged your funds. That makes you a higher risk profile. And no, a lender is not going to want to come back behind and bail you out of that scenario. You're going to have to find another resource, and that's going to be a non-lending resource to get you over the hump. So again, that ability to disqualify, look for those key things that when people say that can give you that indication up, they don't have their ducks in a row right now. So let me move on to the next, let me politely end this conversation and start moving to the next client that potentially has what's necessary to get to the finish line.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, Christopher. And so we can't avoid the process. We can't fear the phone. We have to get familiar with this stuff. Right now, one of the things that we encounter with some of our affiliates is the to be fearful of admitting when you don't understand something. It's very important that if you don't understand, if you feel you're making a mistake, if you feel lost, if you're not sure what's next, you need to be vocal about it. Nobody here is a mind reader. We don't know that that's the case. So speak up, right? And we'll throw support at you. We will dig in and figure out what's going on, right? Just this past week, now, I myself and Gavin, right, you'll find that on the coaching calls you see us here, but in the day-to-day, you're dealing more with your team leaders. Doesn't mean we won't make ourselves available. Miguel can attest to that, right? David and Miguel, I've been working with them over the week, looking at the deals, going through, punching the calculator together, going through HubSpot and the deal notes and all these different things. And I'm assisting, right? Same thing with Wendy, right? Wendy and I had discussed the marketing outreach, discussed volume, discussed the order of operations. And through these conversations, we were able to figure out little missing pieces, areas of improvement. And through doing that, Wendy and Miguel are stronger this week than they were last week. And they'll continue to move forward in that fashion. But what are the two things that Wendy and Miguel possess? The willingness to come forward and speak up. The willingness to dive in. Because they're not just going to sit idle. They're going to make use of the opportunity. They're going to roll their sleeves up and they're going to speak up. They're going to put themselves in an uncomfortable position. That's what it takes to succeed. And so that's really a calling out anybody who's kind of sitting quietly in the background. You are not going to succeed that way. Just like the kid who's sitting in the back of the classroom, staring off at the ceiling, licking the roof of their mouth, not paying attention to what the teacher has to say. They're not going to succeed. They're not going to pass the test. They're not going to get good grades. They're going to lack the problem-solving skills necessary to succeed in the real world. We know this. We tell our kids this stuff every day. We have to live by those same principles. Very, very important. Okay? So anyway, tipping my hat to Wendy and Miguel putting in the time last week to improve things. And that's exactly the kind of effort we're looking for. But the point is, the support is around you. You just have to ask for it. David, do you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was actually going to, off your point before, what Chris was saying, in the interest of understanding that you're in a company that is training you to be a business loan broker or, a loan broker, basically, whether it's real estate or business, that should be one of the first skills that you learn is to be able to go through, qualify, and even disqualify a candidate to be able to go through the loan process. You don't want to be spinning your wheels, on something that is not going to qualify, because that's just going to waste your time. It's going to waste your account executive's time, even up to the lender. If we're going to the lender all the time, putting these quotes out of files that aren't going to get qualified and asking them questions on these, just like real outside the box kind of deals, it's just wasting everybody's time. So, your ability to get through, to understand what that client needs, and just to be able to tell them, well, this may be what you need, but we don't have a product for that. We don't have a product for 100% financing. We don't have gap funding or anything like that. This is the kind of thing that you've got to be able to understand and be able to, just flat out tell your client, look, you're not ready to go today. Your credit score's a 550. You got $3,000 in the bank and you're wanting to buy a $500,000 property. I spoke to a lady last week that it was her first property. It was $8 million and it was a multi-family property, and she had no money to spend for herself. So, really, and this was a new affiliate, so I had no problem going through and helping that affiliate understand. But that's the whole thing. You've got to be in there understanding that you're learning. And, if it comes down 3 or 4 weeks, and this, I've been on 4 or 5 different conversations with the same type of person, I'll have a conversation with that affiliate and just say, look, you got to be able to go through yourself and be able to stop this before it gets to me. So it's one of the things that it's going to help you. It's going to help everybody else. And, just for you to build up that communication ability to understand and shut somebody down before they even get an application in, that's going to behoove you and be really good for you in the long run.
Absolutely. Well said, David. And so one of the things that I want to turn everyone's attention to is our milestones in your trackers and client list. By the way, if you are not using your tracker and client list, it is so necessary. You've got to collect data. If you don't collect data on your performance, if you don't collect data in communication, in your outreach, you don't have the information needed to tell you where to go next. You don't have the information to show you how to improve. And so if you're sitting there frustrated thinking to yourself, what do I do next? Or I can't quite figure out what the problem is, or I want to improve things, but I don't know what areas to focus on. It's because you're not collecting data. And so you might look at a spreadsheet like that and be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, you have to do it. If you want to succeed in this business, you have got to you have to get uncomfortable. You have to do the things that maybe you don't want to do, because nobody ever became wealthy just working hard when they felt like it, right? A little bit of tough love there, but it's the truth, right? And so take a look at the milestones in your tracker and your client list, and you'll notice that there's things you need to achieve before you can unlock the next level of training. Okay? And what you want to do first is get good at volume, talking to enough people, having enough conversations. You also want to get good at properly qualifying your applicants. You want to get comfortable talking on the phone. You want to become familiar with our systems. You want to become familiar with our products. You cannot just jump to the advanced training and think, well, if I unlock the advanced training, now I'm going to start making all kinds of money. No, you're trying to skip the process. There is no skipping the process. You have to go through these lessons in order to have the skill set necessary to move on to the next level. The nuance, the detail, the next level, that comes after that, not during, not before, okay? And if you put in the time, you put in the effort, you will get to that point. Okay, but it's very important, and it's extremely valuable. Those assets, those abilities. Again, what's the holy grail of loan brokering? Free leads, free leads. But what good if you think getting 500 people to say yes, I want a loan is a job well done? It's not. It's getting 500 people to say yes, I want a loan and I qualify. That's what the goal is. Because now you're eliminating the cost of paying for leads. You got leads on tap. You have a full book. You have people chasing you to talk to you because they want money. They're emailing you. They're texting you. They're calling you. You have a full book. Every day you have your scheduled callbacks. You are surrounded by opportunity, and it's free. You're not paying 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, $1, $20, $40 for a lead. That is over. You don't have to deal with that. And if you're good at qualifying, the data you have is only good data. meaning you have a really good chance of funding those deals. With those two boxes checked, you're in a very good position. And that's when it's time to dive into the nuance. That's when it's time to really get familiar with the subtleties of your products, of your lenders, and understanding how to underwrite files yourself so you get even better at qualifying. And then when you have that skill set and you go back to talking to your client on the phone for the first time, it's a joke how easily you're able to disqualify a client. In 30 seconds, you can end that conversation because you know it's going nowhere fast. You can have your calculator out in front of you, bang, 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 and know what a good deal is right off the bat. You can expedite that journey, get that deal funded right away, and put money in your pocket. But you can't skip the process. You have to go through these learning experiences. You have to go through that learning curve. You have to stumble and fumble and fall and pick yourself up and dust yourself off to get to a place to where you'll be able to succeed, and often. But it doesn't happen overnight, and you can't get frustrated. It's the negative that sculpts you. The positive just encourages you. Embrace the negative. It's an expedited journey. Patrick Gall says it well, right? He says we have the battle scars to prove it, and we can expedite your journey to success because you don't have to go through that struggle like we went through. Instead, you have Ion. You can leverage our assets, our experience, and you can gather that information for yourself. Pete Marriage is another one. He gave us a testimonial a while back, and it was a great testimonial speaking to just that. You know, the knowledge that you're gathering here, the lessons that you're learning, would take years to accrue that kind of knowledge working for a firm. And a lot of firms, they want to keep you dumb. They want to keep you calling. They want to keep you in a place where you're never really going to grow. They don't want to give those bits of important information away because they're afraid that maybe you'll do more with it, right? They want to be wealthy. We don't do that here at Ion. We're willing to give you every bit of it, every aspect, teach you everything. But we're going to do it in the right order. We're not just going to hand it all to you because it's information overload. It's a mess of puzzle pieces. So anyway, I know I'm talking at you and there's a lot of information coming this way, but hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down here. Any questions? And I think, Patrick, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, just something real quick. I mean, you already took part of it, and that is, we've got it all figured out, folks. And if any of you have spent time with me on the phone, I was very clear in that you don't have to figure anything out. It's all been done for you. The only thing you need to do is put some ego aside, go through some of the mundane things, and if it feels mundane, because there's a rhyme and a reason. Everything is there by design. Think of it this way. Think of building your way to success in this business as this. I don't, with all the people on this call, I know that every single one of you have grown up or lived through one of three ages, what I refer to as the Atari, Nintendo, and Xbox ages. If not, we've all played a video game at a bowling alley at some point or another in our teen years. And what is it about these games that you play in order to win? You've got to level up. You can't get to level 2 until you complete level 1. You can't get to level 3 until you've gone through and completed levels 1 and 2. And this is no different. So, and this is exactly the way the Ion system has been laid out. Level 1, level 2, level 3 is designed to help you level your way up to success.
Indeed. Well put, Patrick.
And just, we try to be brief. To parlay on that, there's a lot of things out there that sell hype and all sell you all about the good and lovey-dovey feeling. As you see, we talk real practical, real world, real bottom line, real business struggles. Any businesses in business struggles on getting lead generation and qualifying clients, but that's what a job is supposed to do. You lead gen, you find the right clients, you disqualify, you bring the good ones home, you close a percentage of those. And it's a natural progression. So when you're speaking with these owners, you can understand, because as business owners as yourself, you understand the legs that they have to go through. Like, you understood there's a foundational stage, and I have to build my foundation. And then there's a growth stage, and I'm going to build my growth. Everything has to be done in due time. Also, in regarding vetting people, I think we spoke about it a week ago, not chasing the unicorns. Not chasing the one-off transaction. We're trying to build you in a situation where you'll have stable, predictable income. And the only way you do that is by being focused on the bread and butter. If you cut out all the other noise and sift throughout the noise and look at the bread and butter, what can I get close? What can I be competitive in? And let me focus in on that. Realize that our economy is getting ready to open, and we're positioning ourselves to be ready for that new boom. Foreclosures might be going through the roof. Real estate investors are waiting for the boom. What you have an opportunity, and where you're at right here and right now, is you're at the apex of a lot of these up trends that are coming in the marketplace. And knowing how to identify proper people who are ready to take advantage of that is going to have you far exceed the person trying it on their own, trying to figure it out and spending their time on stuff that's not going to give them a positive result. So please take these criticisms, these calls, this analyst to heart, and really put that on wear it as a badge of honor and work the deals. Be meticulous in your pursuit, and we will get you success. You have enough support here to get you to where you need to do, but it's support. We're not here to do the work for you. We're here to support you and get you to the finish line faster than doing it on your own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, Christopher. I'm sorry. David, you want to add something to that?
Yeah. And this is, to your point about the training and the milestones, when you guys are looking at that, go through them and look at them. There's very specific wording in there, and that's for a very specific reason. You're not going to get anywhere getting training. You're not going to get anywhere, just looking at this training. You're not going to get anywhere advanced training. Let's say it's professional training. I don't care. It doesn't matter. What you have to do, you have to take action. And that is the way that the milestones are structured. They're structured around action. When you start taking action, when you get those applications in, when you start presenting quotes, when you start getting accepted quotes, that's what unlocks the other training. So you've got to get in there. You've got to take action. You can't just look at all the training and think that once you get all this information, then you're ready. That's never going to happen. You're not going to sit there and learn anything or learn everything and then start going to take action. You can't do that. That's not going to work. It's going to take you forever, and you're going to make like $3 in the process. Meanwhile, you spent all this money to get here, and we all did. We've all spent time, money, whatever you want to call it. We've all spent time to be here, and if you're not taking action, if you're not doing anything, well, you're not going anywhere. So it's one of those things. You'll look at the milestones on the training on the tracker. It's based around action because you have to take it. Nobody knows everything, and anybody that says that they do know everything is lying. So you've got to take action. You got to get in there. You got to, get your knuckles bloody and get in there, get those scars and take it and learn, figure it out.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Absolutely, David. And so wake up call for anybody who's sitting quietly in the background. Dive in, because I promise you, those that are making money. Those that are they're paid their tuition off already. They're in the profit zone, right? I mean, we've got people who've closed 10 deals plus, or more, because they're just consistently doing it. That could be you. Why can't that be you? It just comes down to, are you going to put in the time and effort to do that? To tip my hat to Miguel one more time. Miguel's new. He just joined us, but applications are coming in. We're on the phone. We're taking a look. Right? We haven't funded yet, right, Miguel? And a couple of those deals may not. They will, yeah. And maybe and what we're learning right now is how to spot the subtle little nuances, right? To disqualify a deal, how to find the right deal. But that's the kind of food for thought we need. We can't move forward without that. And that's the proactive approach we're looking for, right? You're engaging, you're hungry, and before you know it, he's going to have sharp teeth. He's going to find that winning deal, and bang, money in his pocket, tuition paid off, profit time. And that's what we're looking for. So make sure, everybody, that you're putting that time in. So any questions here? Anybody have any questions? Anything about one of their deals? Go ahead, Miguel.
I have a question for one of our emails. In the email, it shows the purchase/rehab hard money, and I may be reading this wrong. Mm-hmm. But 80 to 95% LTC and 65 to 70% ARV. So I understand. So if I'm reading that correctly, when a customer reads that, they're not looking at the whole picture, because I'm getting questions as far as their mind is LTV, because LTV is only going to cover up to 70%, right? So they got to come out of pocket 30% in order.
Yeah,
for
their
us.
skin in the game.
Right. So that email, I guess they're not reading properly. So I guess at that point, I just would have to.
So don't
educate them.
Yes, and don't overcomplicate it for yourself either. Initially, what we're looking to do is get them interested. If they receive that email and they have questions, that email did exactly what it was designed to do. Get them talking. Get them to fill out the application, whatever. And then from that, your team leader will assist you. So if you're missing a bit, you're not comfortable answering that question, don't worry, your team leader is. If you are comfortable answering that question, you want to educate the client on how it works, 100%. Let them know how it works. But that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, is to get them asking questions. If you pay attention to your email templates, you have your cold email template that goes out, the one you were just describing. The very next email template is, I understand you have questions. Let's hop on the phone with my team leader, blah, 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 right? And so it's to get them interested. The other thing you have to consider is asking your basic qualifying questions, right? Do you have experience? Do you have cash in the bank? How many exits do you have in the last couple of years or whatever? Because if you have these things in mind, if you ask these questions, you're dealing with a good client. Whether you fund them today, whether you fund them tomorrow, that's somebody we want to talk to. That's somebody you want in your book, right? So don't worry if the client's a bit confused, has a question or two. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. What you want to ascertain is this person worth putting in my client list? Is this person worth filling out an application, whatever it is? We can work on the nuance after the fact. So questions are a good thing. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. But I guess my question is, no matter what, LTC 70%, regardless.
No. LTC. Okay. So I was doing this over the weekend. Think column A, column B. Column A, loan to cost. I need to know your purchase price. I need to know your rehab budget. That's your acquisition cost, LTC.
Okay.
Most deals are between 85, what can be as low as 80% if you have no experience. So it can range from 80 to 90%, depending on experience. So you don't know their experience until you ask them the question. So there's a range to that. Now, on the back end, how did the bank make sure that the deal is worth lending? Because even though you have costs associated to buy the property, you have to have one of the following exit strategies. You're either flipping it, or you're keeping it, or you're going to refinance it to keep it as a rental. So on the second column, I need to know, when I look at the fixed up value of a property, I need to know what the ARV is, because the bank wants to make sure that the customer is making a 25 to 30% profit in that transaction. So they would have room to do either of those closing options, either flip it for a profit or refinance it as a long-term hold. So it's two columns. Column A is your cost. Column B is the value. And the loan is based off the lower of those two numbers.
Okay, so I guess when we're talking about experience level, I understand there's tiers, 0 to 1, silver, 2 to 4 is gold, platinum 5 plus, and that's within a 24-month period?
36-month.
36-month period? Does the lender have any other stipulations that they look at as far as that experience is concerned, like the type of property? Do they need to be consecutive with the same property? Does it have to be single family homes? Is it commercial, or do they
this is the reality. The lenders lend on experience. So what do you have experience in? I can fund you those type of projects 90% of the time. When you start jumping into commercial, new construction, mixed use, stuff like that, if you don't have relevant, it's going to be harder to do those without having the right experience level to equate that. Money goes with experience. The more experience you have, the easier you can get deals provided. I don't know all those answers to all those questions until I have a conversation with my client and let them fill out the track record. Let me look at that data and then come back and say, well, based off of what you told me, this is what I have to go. What I do know is my disqualifiers. My disqualifiers are, you tell me you want to do new construction, but you never built one before. My disqualifiers, you want to buy $1 million property, you got $20,000 in the bank. My disqualifiers are your credit score is under 660. My disqualifiers, you just recently filed or have an open bankruptcy. That's what your focus should be focused on the phone. Once you see that that the disqualifiers aren't there, then you're going to set up another appointment, because at that point we're going to be able to offer them some type of terms, and then we can go over the terms with the client based off of their profile, and then we're that much closer getting to the closing table.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
There you go. Mark Phillips, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thanks. Just wanted to touch upon one of the disqualifiers, like the experience.
Mm-hmm.
If the experience is limited, could we be like consultants and say, well, if you could leverage someone else's experience in terms of bringing in a partner that have experience, then your application may have a better option to get funded?
Yes, that's a good point. They can pool resources. Yes, Mark.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have a guarantor on the application, if they want to pool resources, even a line of credit can be attained by you pooling resources, putting money into an escrow account. You can do those things. So if you have a new borrower, you want to educate them. Perhaps they have somebody in their sphere of influence who does have the credentials we need to get funded. You want to push them to leverage that? Absolutely. That's a great point. And leave them off with that bit of information, see if they come back to you, kind of thing, So that's a good way. That's a good tip for the group. Thanks for sharing that, Mark.
Okay. So we're not just seeing something bad and just turn it away. We look to see if we could kind of consult them on something that could help them get funded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a fine line there. We don't want to spend too much time on a person like that. We quickly want to get away from that conversation and into the next one, but it doesn't mean we can't have a few one-liners ready, right, to fire over in an email if you're on the phone, to kind of leave them with that bit and then get off the phone. But absolutely, I would not enter those people into your client list and your client list and tracker, but let them know, educate them somewhat, let them go, and if it's meant to be, they'll come back to you with what you need the next time around. So yes, Mark, that's you can do that, and that's a great point, and that helps the group. Thank you.
Thank you. Sound good.
Remember, our name is Ion Capital Solutions, so we are here to provide solutions, and so that should be a mainframe. Especially if you hear like, "Oh, are you a lender?" No, we're the broker, but we're providing solutions. So, again, the reason why you do these questionnaires and these consults is to see if you can come up with a helpful solution for them. And if you can, offer it. If you can't, then it's like, all right, let me, pivot to the next person who could work with the solutions I have to offer.
Absolutely. So, anyway, anybody have any other questions?
Hey, Ryan, this is Charlie Messer.
Hey, Charlie, how are you?
Not too bad. Listen, I was just looking on the tracker, and the real estate milestone on mine is still under construction. Is that correct across the board?
It's not. That's not. So actually, I just noticed that. Thank you for bringing that up, Charlie. I just noticed that the template that we were sharing, it's an error. It's actually the same milestones that's on your business tracker, and it just needs to be copied over. So if you literally
paste, will do.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, the only part that that won't cut and paste. Well, I mean, you could cut and paste it, but the box won't check is if having qualified files. I think it's 25 qualified files. Those are two different types. So if you have 25 qualified real estate applications, that doesn't count for business funding, right? And vice versa. And that's because they're just so different. Right. So for anybody looking to unlock advanced training, if you complete the milestones for real estate, you're going to unlock the real estate advanced training. If you complete the milestones for business, you're going to unlock the advanced for business. They're two separate. Now, a lot of them do cross over. A lot of them you check both boxes with, setting up your CRM, so on and so forth, tracking data, so on and so forth. Right. But there are some that are different. So thank you for bringing that up and reminding me, Charlie.
Thank you, Ryan.
You got it.
Hey, Ryan, one more question.
Yeah.
Hey, do we fund in London, England?
Gavin, do we fund in London, England? I don't know. I know that we can look at international deals, But Christopher, is it really worth our time looking at international deals right now?
I mean, I
Have we even done a deal like that? I don't think we have.
No, I mean, I mean, literally, we've had even issues with trying, like, foreign investors. Like, there's just, again, that's one of those examples of the unicorn.
Yeah.
In my example, it's like, we're in the forest. Like, are we, and we're trying to hunt for the unicorn. We're not coming back home with a catch. I want to eat. So, it's like, so, while you searching for the unicorn, I'm gonna kill these rabbits and boars and have a feast while you still out there starving. So don't, avoid projects that are gonna make you starve. We don't want to be in blizzards. We want to, I want to be in the tropical sunshine. You know what I'm saying? The oasis. Look for oasis deals.
Yeah.
Gotcha. The only reason I was asking is because I got a question on LinkedIn and I didn't want to answer it. That was the case. So.
You're like, it's just, it's a different marketplace. I mean, literally, if you look at most of the stuff we're funding here, it's U.S. based, U.S. corporations, U.S. laws, U.S. courts. International has a whole different stream, and so it's again, there's just not enough enticement to kind of cross the whole pond when I got when the truth is more people from the UK are coming over here to do business than vice versa.
Right.
So I just look, the money's the green fields, the green pastures are here. The people come to the States for the pastures. Just the reality of the scenario. But again, I think I also want to kind of point out is, some of the questions you're asking in regard to some of the formulations, it is making sure, looking through our training on the ARVs and stuff like that, because that's the bread and butter stuff. There will be more of that on the rise. I mean, housing markets are hot right now, but we also know inventory is a little bit, investors are looking for deals. It's coming, you know what I mean? So again, qualifying and finding people who are ready to take advantage of those opportunities is going to be your best bet long term. And then if you want to go find a UK connection, have fun. We'll support you, but I ain't putting in the work there.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll say this, if you do talk to a foreign investor, I think that the first thing you should ask is, are you doing business in the United States? What kind of experience do you have? What does your portfolio look like? I mean, if it's a whale who's doing business internationally and has 30 exits in the year, right, and has millions of dollars in liquidity, we want to talk to that person. Right. So that's really what you want to find out, because odds are, if they are in fact that whale, they're doing business in the U.S. So yes, we can certainly speak to foreign investors, but we just need to make sure that it's worth our time, and we want them doing business in the United States in our marketplace. That's where we're focused. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miguel.
No, I'm just saying thank you.
No, you got it. No problem. Anybody else have any other questions?
About the foreign investors, some of our lenders even have restrictions. Even if they're trying to invest here, some of our lenders have restrictions on where that investor can be. So if they're from certain countries, and offhand, I don't remember, it was so long ago that I spoke to them about it, but there's certain countries that the investor is not allowed to be from. So like if there's someone from a certain country, and I'll just pick like Mongolia, and I'm probably way off, but if they're, let's just say they're from Mongolia, they wouldn't be able to get approved. And that's only certain investors, but I'm just saying that's just another layer of complexity that gets added to deals with foreign investors, but not necessarily that anybody from Mongolia is going to be denied just for being from Mongolia, but I'm just picking something out as an example.
Right. But that's one of those things, we'll deal with it on a case-by-case business or scenario. So don't worry about, getting a list of countries they can't be from, and you're going to be diverted from your tasks, everybody. Just focus on your bread and butter, fix and flips here in the States.
Completely agree with you on that.
Yeah. So with that being said, we are approaching the end of the call. We do have time for a couple more questions. Anybody have anything that they need help with, want to ask for? If nobody speaks up, I'm going to call out a couple names. So anybody got any questions? All right. Scott Petty, how you doing, Scott?
Hey, we're doing great. Everything's going smooth. We call it love everything on the call today. That was a lot of great information.
Terrific, terrific. Any areas you need help with? Anywhere we could bring some extra support to the table?
Right now, no. We call you guys are support every time that we call. Every time I talk, we call it. Everything's working well. So I love the Monday call. You learn so much, and you just like you said, you got to just keep grinding. So
terrific, terrific. Okay, Scott. Well, let us know if there's anything we can do to help you further, and good luck out there, man.
Thanks, sir.
You got it. You got it. Scott, who was your partner in crime again?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. No, but didn't you have another guy here that you're in the program you worked together with?
No, sir. That's just me by myself.
Okay. Sorry, Scott. I was probably thinking of somebody else.
That's okay.
No worries. No worries. All right. So what was that name I was just looking at here? Looks like, Jeremy Gonzalez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Good, good, good.
How's the struggle?
Struggle's always exciting. Finally, so last time you called on me, this was end of last year sometime. My company was going public. So I had a lot of my time eaten up by that.
How'd that go?
So pretty good. We went public. It was actually a pretty smooth transaction.
Congrats.
Which we can be here. So now I've been able to focus more on this, got some systems in place. I did get a couple apps in, didn't amount to much, but it's a good learning situation. And, like everybody else has said, I mean, you guys are phenomenal for support and everything's going good. So it's just like you guys say, it's a numbers game. So just getting our numbers in.
Keep at it. That's the way, Jeremy. Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your company going public. And please let us know if there's anything we can do to help support you with the little time that you have available to focus on this. We can absolutely do that. But you're right on the money there. Volume is what you need in order to be able to start tracking data and figure out what your ideal clients look like and whatnot. So is there any areas of support you're looking for? Any questions you have? Anything we can do to assist you and help you expedite the journey?
I don't think so at this moment. It's just, scraping through the coal to find your diamonds at this point.
Right.
So just, as like I said, you guys have been phenomenal. So anything that has popped up, a simple ping in Facebook and I get the answers that I need. So just rocking and rolling.
Terrific. Terrific. All right, Jeremy, best of luck out there.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you. All right. James, how you doing, James? James OC, I apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly.
No, that's fine. So far, doing well. Just sending out emails, going through the materials, following everything that's in there. It's going great so far. I'll be reaching out to David for questions, and he always gets back to me with all the answers. We had, I think, a couple of calls last week. Some of the clients, you call them, they don't pick up, even though you schedule an appointment with them.
Right.
But David said that was something that was normal. So, just being consistent, basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely, James. Well, one of the things you can do when you're encountering a client who's not picking up the phone after you scheduled an appointment, one, make sure you are scheduling appointments. So if you're calling cold out of the blue, odds are they won't pick up, especially if they don't recognize the number. But if you can get something on the calendar and then remind them of that date coming up when it's time for the call, you have a better shot. Now, if they're not showing up to those scheduled calls and they're wasting your time, well, your time is money, right, James? So make sure you value your time and move on from somebody who doesn't respect it. But with that being said, make sure to remind the client of the value. I can't tell you, if I had a dime, James, for every time I had a great conversation with the client, and I was sure that was one of the best calls I had, and I won over the client's confidence, and they just forgot who I was a week later or 2 weeks later because they have so many loan brokers calling them. So you have to remind them often of the value that you bring to the table, right? So, for instance, if a client, you talk to a client and they need $100,000, right? And that $100,000 is going to change their business. And they're going to, with that $100,000 you give them, they're going to be able to add $500,000 to their bottom line at the end of the year. Remind them of that. right? If you spoke to them the last time they got 100, they borrowed 100 grand, it was over, you know, a 12-month period, but you can get them the 18-month term. Last time they had a weekly payment, but you can get them the monthly term payment. Remind them of that. Dangle that carrot, right? And if you do little things like that, they'll keep you in the back of their mind, right? And then when you call, they'll be like, oh, that's James. James is the guy who can get me the monthly payment. Oh, James is the guy who's going to double my term this time around. Oh, James is the guy who understands my business model and is a sports fan and likes the same team I do, whatever it is. Find ways to be memorable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Terrific.
Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
You got it, James. You got it. And I don't know if that speaks to your current situation. I'm just trying to use the topic to help the overall group and to give you some points as well to help connect. So I hope that's useful for you.
Absolutely. Very much appreciated. And well noted as well.
Wonderful, James. Any areas of support that we could provide to you to help assist you in your journey here? Anything that you've been a bit confused about? We could shed some light.
Well, I was having trouble with setting up Duck Soup, but I think it was an issue with my my PC.
Okay.
So I kind of got that figured out now. So everything's all good now.
Okay, fair enough. Well, if you still encounter problems with Duck Soup setup and whatnot, I'm sure we can do a screen share with you and kind of walk you through the steps. So please let us know. We want to make sure that if you're going to set up your automation tools, that they're up and they're running.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Terrific,
and
James.
definitely get back.
Terrific.
Appreciate it.
You got it. Best of luck out there, James.
Thank you so much.
You got it. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's call. Remember, we have to rock our qualification caps, right? Make sure that we're properly qualifying. Disqualify clients. If you are disqualifying clients, you are doing the right thing. You are doing your job. You are that much closer to being a successful loan broker, right? Disqualify, and do it early on. Sift through the mud. Find the gold, right? And you don't want to be spending your time on files that aren't going to make you money, right? Very, very important. Be communicative with your team leaders. Make sure that you're sharing your experience. When you have a question, raise your hand. When you're confused, ask for help. If you're not gaining traction, if you're not making money, if you're not talking to enough people, ask questions. Find out why. Get that extra attention you need in order to succeed. Okay, if you do that, you will be successful. Thanks so much, everybody. Good luck out there, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you.
See you next week, everybody.
Hasta la vista.
Thanks, guys.